Gibraltar, which has a population of 34,000, began vaccination in December 2020, when the health department reported only 1,040 confirmed cases, and 5 fatalities, in the country due to COVID-19. The number of new infections climbed 5-fold to 5,314, and the number of fatalities increased 19-fold after a massive vaccination campaign that achieved 118% coverage. Those in charge of the vaccine, on the other hand, deny any causative relationship while offering no other credible explanation. After a few months of relative peace, the pandemic resurfaced, proving that 118% vaccine coverage is ineffective in preventing the illness. In the following video, Dr. John Campbell offers his views on Gibraltar vaccine failure.
It's a small island, bottom of Spain, top of Morocco in the Mediterranean. Well, it's actually more peninsula. You can walk onto the mainland in Spain. British protectorate. So only just under 34,000 people living in Gibraltar at the moment. But it's administered 94,000 vaccine doses. And that's enough to have fully vaccinated 140.2% of the country's population. Now, of course, this clearly means that some people have had 3 doses. The early parts of the pandemic, February 2020, this was the increase in December 20, January 2021. Big increase, of course, as we know. Went down quite dramatically. But lately, there's no question we've got a surge here. There's a significant increase in cases, despite the very high number of vaccinations. And really, all we conclude from this is that the virus can still spread to quite large extents in highly vaccinated populations. I don't really see.
A link to Dr. John Campbell's complete video will be in the description below. The Netherlands has over 75% of its population vaccinated. On November 13, Dr. Kuipers, a specialist in intensive care, declared, "The suggestion has been made of herd immunity. Forget it. We are now working with several scenarios. One is, there will always be a large number of corona patients. With a substantial number of patients, we really need to organize care differently in the long run. Increase hospital capacity to accommodate all COVID-19 and regular care patients. Britain is the champion of the AstraZeneca injection, but its high level of vaccination has not protected it from a strong resumption of the epidemic, which has persisted for 4 months, with an average of 40,000 cases daily." On August 10, 2021, testifying before British MPs, Professor Sir Andrew Pollard, head of the Oxford Vaccine Group, said the fact that vaccines did not stop the spread of COVID meant that reaching the threshold of global immunity in the population was mythical, adding, "With the current Delta variant, this is not possible." In the following video, Professor Andrew Pollard explains in details why herd immunity is not achievable with the current level of vaccination.
We are in a situation here with this current variant where herd immunity is not a possibility because it still infects vaccinated individuals. And I suspect that what the virus will throw up next is a variant which is perhaps even better at transmitting in vaccinated populations. And so that's an even more of a reason not to be making a vaccine program around herd immunity. I don't think there's anything the UK can do to stop the emergence of new variants. They're going to happen. And if anything, we need to focus now not on what might stop new variants, because I don't think we have any facility to control that. We need to focus on thinking about how do we prevent people dying or going to.
Malta has a population of 500,000 people, and over 800,000 doses have been administered, resulting in about 84% vaccination coverage. However, the pandemic has resurfaced since the beginning of July 2021, leading authorities to acknowledge that vaccination alone is insufficient to safeguard the people and to impose limits. Again, the epidemic's reappearance in terms of cases and fatality demonstrates that a high vaccination rate does not protect the population. People in Iceland no longer believe in herd immunity. More than 80% of the population of this tiny country of 360,000 people is vaccinated. However, by mid-July 2021, the number of new daily infections had climbed from about 10 to over 120, before settling at a higher rate than before vaccination. The chief epidemiologist was certain that collective immunity could not be achieved by vaccination after this unexpected resurgence. He openly proclaimed, herd immunity is a myth. In Belgium, about 76% of the population has received first vaccination. In addition, 74% of the population has completed their vaccine schedule. However, the number of new daily infections has increased from fewer than 500 to approximately 2,000 since the end of June 2021. In the face of the Delta strain, as RTBF agrees, existing immunization is insufficient to safeguard the population. Singapore is also very well vaccinated, with approximately 90% of the population receiving at least one dose. However, starting August 20, 2021, it has had to deal with an exponential return of the epidemic, with cases rising from about 10 in June to over 150 by the end of July, and 1,246 by September 24. Singapore has given up on achieving zero COVID with vaccinations. The approach of eliminating the virus has been abandoned in favor of a model of living with the virus by treating the condition like the flu. In Israel, 70% of the population has received initial immunization, and approximately 90% of those at risk have completed the vaccine cycle. However, since the end of June, the pandemic has recovered stronger than ever, with more than 11,000 new cases reported in a single day, almost double the peaks witnessed in January 2021, during the outbreak after the initial Pfizer vaccination. Despite the Pfizer injections, the outbreak has resurfaced, accompanied by an upsurge in hospitalizations, with the vaccinated accounting for the bulk of those admitted. In Israel and the UK, which specify the vaccination status of the victims, the vaccinated suffer from an increased risk of mortality compared to the non-vaccinated. The current pursuit of a vaccine-only policy may not be enough to prevent the recurrence of the epidemic, nor hospitalizations, nor severe forms, nor death. The WHO Director, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, has recently stated that no country can vaccinate its way out of COVID.
With the right mix of measures, it's possible for countries to find the balance between keeping transmission down and keeping their societies and economies open. No country can simply vaccinate its way out of the pandemic. It's not vaccines or, it's vaccines and.
I am not entirely sure what he meant, or if that includes early treatment. Nonetheless, I would suggest he meant countries may have to adopt other measures alongside vaccinations. If the goal of these vaccinations is to slow the spread of the virus, then these vaccinations are completely failing all around the world. Coercing or forcing people to take a vaccine is illogical and a breach of the basic concept of consent. This argument is bolstered further by the fact that these vaccines do not protect against illness or the spread of the virus. As a result, vaccine passports serve no public health function and may be used as an excellent weapon for authoritarian dictators seeking to control human rights, freedoms, and liberties. Please leave your comments below on what you think. Also, please like or dislike the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be notified when we post new videos. Thank you.